Good afternoon, Alan Vanderberg here. Another episode of EQ for You, episode number 12. Today's episode is entitled, What About IQ? Again, what about IQ? We're operating off of the idea that 75% of a person or a team's success is not their IQ. So, before we get started, just a couple of things. Back in February of this year, 2020, launched a new book called EQ, Kill the Radio Star. High Emotional Intelligence Can Crush or Crash Your Organization. It is available at alanvanderberg.com, barnesandnoble.com, and amazon.com. And if you're in the Norman, Oklahoma area, I understand through a relative that EQ Kill the Radio Star is actually right there at the front of the store there at the Barnes & Noble there in Norman. So stop by and check that out. It's pretty interesting. So the other thing I want to say right before we get started is a special thank you to Dr. Joe Burns for having me on his radio show called the Rock School Radio Show. We recorded it a couple weeks ago and it came out about a week ago or so, and had a great time. If you haven't listened to it yet, I'll put a link at the bottom of the YouTube channel and you can check it out. But had a lot of fun, and Joe Burns was like we had hung out for a long time. We talked about destruction of great rock bands and the EQ and IQ formula to some of our favorite rock heroes. So last thing is, if you would hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel, you'll get these episodes as soon as they come out. Been doing about every other week. And so now on to the topic. Today's topic, what about IQ? If 75% of a person or a team's success is their EQ, then what about the other 25%? How important is IQ to you and your team's success? Well, from a personal level, where do we find IQ? Well, we find it on a resume. We find it in degrees and certifications and skills and work examples that you would see on a resume, problems that you might fix, those kind of things. IQ is important. It's 25% of a team or a person's success, so it's not zero. So, for example, if I worked in an IT help desk and I can't help you fix your computer problems, then all I am is a really nice guy that you call up that can't fix your problems. So I need IQ to help you be successful. And so this would mean that I would need more technology IQ to be more effective. That way I could help you when you called. Another example would be if I want to play in a rock band, I can be a really great person to work with, have great music ideas. But if I only know 2 chords on a guitar, then you're not going to ask me to join the band. So I will need to increase my IQ skills of playing the guitar. And just a special note on rock bands and this kind of subject is, when I learn how to play guitar better and increase my IQ, I need to balance my confidence and ego so I don't become the band member that breaks up the band. It could cause somebody to write a book initially titled Low Emotional Intelligence and the Destruction of Great Rock Bands, which turned into the book called EQ, Kill the Radio Star. So it's just fun. So in the research that I've done over the years, the lowest EQ that I've seen is in the medical field. It's somewhere around 60%, 60-40 EQ to IQ. And specifically in the nursing industry is where I found this research several years back. You know, my wife recently got bit by some spider. We don't know exactly what it was. But she went to the emergency room and her knee was just completely swollen up. It looked like an apple had been on the end of her kneecap. When she came back from the emergency room, because I didn't get a chance to go with her, all she could talk about is their customer service, the empathy, the caring of the emergency room. But you know what then she said, and you know what? They actually fixed my problem. They gave me a shot and they gave me some meds to help my knee go down and to help the swelling go down. So this combination of EQ and IQ is really, really important to be effective. And that's what happened at the emergency room. So the combination of EQ and IQ and the equal to success and effectiveness, what does it look like? it looks like things like knowledgeable, IQ, and respectful, EQ. Technical, which is IQ, and relational, which is EQ. Book knowledge, which is IQ, plus an attitude of willing to learn, which is what? An EQ skill. So, you know, this balance of 75-25 that we've been talking about with EQ and IQ, both are important. So what does the combination of EQ and IQ in leadership look like? Leaders using their IQ knowledge and experience, IQ, plus their relationships that they build within the organization. Leading a team or an individual where they discover the answer or the direction, EQ, is an EQ skill that leaders have. So I encourage you, continue working on your EQ skills of self-awareness, self-management, relationship management, how to communicate effectively, and all those things. But don't forget about IQ, because it is 25% of you and your team's success. So the question is how can you continue to grow both your EQ and your IQ skills? So hopefully this was helpful for you. I just thought it was interesting. I think sometimes I get in conversations with people and they go, yeah, but Alan, they have to have IQ, right? And I go, absolutely, it's 25%, is it not? And that is absolutely true. So I encourage you, continue to work on both your EQ and your IQ skills. All right, I'm gonna leave you with these three things. Find what you are made to do and do that to the best of your ability. Number two, don't allow anyone or anything to steal your joy or your happiness. And number three, live life to the fullest every day, because nothing is guaranteed. So hopefully this was helpful for you today. I love doing it. Be sure and hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Stay connected and comments on all the social platforms and medias that's out there that I post these videos on. So have a great day and talk to you soon.